Hello, and welcome to a short introduction to Legends of the Spire. This is the podcast that interviews the ex-players, cult heroes and legends of English Lower League Football Club, Chesterfield FC. So I should really tell you a bit about who I am. My name's Dave, Chesterfield born and bred, 30-something, now living in Leeds with 2 kids, and I work in the events industry. Like a lot of people during the pandemic, my work kind of dried up over the last year or so. So I ended up throwing myself into things that I was passionate about. Alongside looking after kids and home improvements, I started watching a few old Chesterfield games, looking at old programmes and old interviews and reminiscing about times gone by. It was during that I thought it might be quite nice to start a podcast. Seeing as everyone else has one nowadays, I thought, why not me too? I've always been really interested that the supporters and players of a football club all share the same highs and lows, promotions, relegations, cup runs, embarrassing defeats, but we share them from different perspectives. For a supporter, it can ruin your evening or your weekend, or your week or your month or your year. For a player, it can have implications on relationships, on career, on whether they can pay the mortgage. And that's all stuff that I really was interested to hear about. I didn't want the podcast to be a bantery podcast. I wanted it to be something where we could find out more about the people that played for the club, more about the person behind the player really. And therefore I decided to start a podcast. So I'll be honest, I procrastinated about the idea of starting a podcast for quite a while. It just kind of gets put down the list and you kind of think it's for something for someone else to do. So I didn't really think about it. And then it got to the point around about Christmas time in which I got in touch with a couple of people I know to kind of get the ball rolling. I thought, kind of, why not? So I got in touch with a guy called Tom Pitts, I know, who's a graphic designer, and I said, Tom, I'd quite like a logo for a podcast that looks like a 20th century footballer who's also a cast member in Peaky Blinders and could easily be passed off as a superhero in a Marvel film. And he came up with the Legends of the Spire logo. So then I got in touch with Matt Howarth, who's an animator I know, and I said, Matt, can you make the cape flap a bit? And then he came back with this. And then finally I got in touch with a guy called Tim Protty Jones, who went viral a bit during lockdown with a heavy metal version of Matt Lucas's Baked Potato song. And I kind of asked him, would you be interested in making a short jingle for a podcast? And he was interested, and he came back with this. So then the podcast was born. And I kind of felt like I had to do it now because I'd just asked 3 people to do work for me to get it rolling, so I was kind of forced into doing it. So the first thing I did was I got in touch with Jamie Hewitt. He's my idea of a legend when you think about a footballer for Chesterfield FC. That goal in the FA Cup semi-final, along with his long service, just makes him the perfect person to speak to first. So I asked him by private message on Twitter and he said yes. So one day we recorded it and it was a great chat. I really enjoyed it. And then I bought some editing software and did a little edit of it. And then I learned how to publish podcasts and I put it out there. And it was only at that point I realised that a podcast doesn't really start and end with one episode. You have to do loads of them, and I've not asked anyone else. So I went away and asked loads more people. Now, if I'm totally honest, I didn't expect anyone to listen to the podcast or watch it on YouTube. So it was a pleasant surprise when people did. And it showed that there was a thirst out there for hearing more about the personalities of the players that we've had playing for us over the years. So on it went. And I must say now, I've never had a career in football. I don't know any footballers. I had no links with footballers or contacts. So I just started getting in touch with people on things like Twitter and Facebook and seeing if they'd say yes. And thankfully they were all up for chat. So, about time really. I should show you a few highlights of some of the guests we've had on Legends of the Spire over the last few months.
I remember taking a letter up to the post box that I'd written. John Duncan was the manager at the time. And it was addressed to John Duncan. I think I think I actually gave it a little kiss, actually, the letter, before I put it in the letterbox, because it meant so much, sort of thing.
I'd heard him say it because I was doing my interview not far from him, and he'd said, well, yeah, no, the kid scored the goal, it could have gone anywhere. So in my interview, I said, the manager said it couldn't go anywhere, but it didn't. It went straight in the top bins and we won the game. And he heard it and he was not happy. And I wasn't really a controversial kid, but I just thought it was a bit disrespectful that you dissed the goal. It didn't just go anywhere, it went straight in the top bins, you know what I mean? So...
And what was your order at Linda's sandwich shop?
Used to get an omelette on a roll. Yeah, and then to be fair, one time Gregor Robertson's dad managed to send us down, we get Lauren sausage up in Scotland, which is like square sausage. And Gregor actually walked down to Linda's and pleaded with her to cook this square sausage. So the whole club got Lauren rolls on Gregor. That was like being back home. It was great.
And I remember coming off at half time and I went down the tunnel and put my foot straight through the gym door at the end, and I was just raging, you know, and I think Kevin Randler said, look, come on, it don't matter, it's nothing, you know, we'll get it back, come on, it's what you do now. And yeah. And we went in and we regrouped, and then obviously to get a couple of goals in it as well was a bit of a sort of recompense for the 2 hours that I'd made. So, you know, and we won the game, and that was just an amazing night. That was a truly amazing night. And
it's all the lads are going to swear at me now. Yeah, it is the hardest position to play, definitely. The goalkeeper, anyone can play in goal, can't they? Come and catch it, come and kick it, save a few shots, you know what I mean? Defender, go and head it easy. Midfielder, do what you want. Wingers, you've only got to cross the ball in for the strikers, haven't you? So then the strikers have got to do, you've got to hold it, you've got to control it, you've got to score a goal, you've got to take all the battering off the centre halves. So it's quite, yeah, you've got to run back for every corner, defend that. So
obviously at that time, in that era, at half time I could go from the Cobden Road end back round to the Saltergate end. Yeah. And I'd go and stand behind his goal at the other end because I was obsessed by, you know, I had a hero, another hero, but Banksy was obviously, you know, somebody who when I say, yeah, of course, I admired him. To have to come and play against him in the numerous times I did, including an FA Cup semi-final.
Can you watch Homes Under the Hammer or not?
Yeah, I watch it quite a lot. Yeah, it's disappointing. He's done well out of it, hasn't he? He's not done bad out of it, you know. But
I passionately believe that the history of a football club is one of the most important things that makes it what it is, really. Throughout bad ownerships of the club, relegations, financial turmoil, times when we can't seem to buy a win, it's the history, memories of past games, past players, going and watching games with your loved ones when you were a kid, that first time you saw the pitch, that first cup of Bovril on a winter fixture that keeps you engaged with a football club, keeps you wanting to know more, keeps your belief that things will turn around and get better. So I really hope that the podcast is something that can celebrate that history, gives a link to the past that makes us enthusiastic about the future. So that's it, my quick introduction to Legends of the Spire podcast. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please do let me know. Legends of the Spire can be found on YouTube. Just search for Legends of the Spire. On Twitter, @Spire Legends. On Facebook, if you search Legends of the Spire. And you can also email me as well at legendsofthespire@outlook.com. Please do like, subscribe, review, share, comment on whichever platform you watch or listen on. And hopefully there's many more episodes to go. So thanks for watching. And that was a bit about Legends of the Spire.